We have some pretty interesting news in regards to Bleach, Core 4 and the franchise as a whole today from NHK News, and they did a lineup about Pierrot in general. So if you want to know about Core 4, the future of Bleach, hit that like, that subscribe, because I've always got you with the news and the latest updates. With that being said, let's get into it, shall we? I'm going to be careful with this footage because I know it can get copyrighted, so you know, if I throw in clips here and there, it won't be the full version. The full version will be on video on demand on the NHK website. So, you know, if you want to go check it out, I think it will be available in a few days. So you'll have to just take things as it is, unfortunately. So there was a special today on NHK in regards to Bleach in regards to Pierrot in general, and it talked about Naruto and it talked about Bleach, saying how they're both significant series to the studio. It highlighted some animators and their thoughts and feelings towards especially Naruto, and then going into Bleach, talking about some of the, the staff members such as Murata and Taguchi, and even going into color depth with Sorori Goda. I think I said her name right. That in and of itself, of course, is interesting, but the most interesting part of all of this was towards the very end, which I'll play a very, very quick clip right here.
The new division is built around the team for Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War. Producer Tominaga Yoshihiro hopes to show the world a new Pierrot.
Now, if you've noticed, it was a very interesting statement to say that Pierrot Films, something that we expected to be the case, but it was good to get it solidified, that Pierrot Films was made for Bleach. Now, just because it's made for Bleach, I want to put this out there, just because it's made for Bleach doesn't mean it will continue to be just for Bleach only. But for now, as it stands, it is a studio that is primarily focused on Bleach as its own. And the reason why I'm going to say this is because it was also mentioned that there was no excuse in regards to time or budget.
俺たちはもう名前も変えたし、こういう作品を作っていくんだぞってそこに言い訳しないぞというか絶対に。
Now, obviously, there's a reason why there's two different branches, such as Pierrot and Pierrot Films, is because they can't obviously give all of the series that they have in their pocket the same treatment that they do with Bleach. So currently, as it stands, Bleach is the first and foremost priority in regards to Pierrot. You've got to think about it like this. They've made a subdivision or a branch that is specifically for Bleach, right? And because of its success, it has been a success. Obviously, they're going to want to capitalize on that success more. Now, of course, later on down the road, obviously Pierrot Films is obviously going to probably be more directed towards films later on and use, the main studio being Pierrot. I hate saying main, but you know what I mean. The core of Pierrot is obviously going to go to probably other series such as, and I'm just going to use this for example, such as your Black Clovers or your Borutos, certain series that they have many IPs of, but they're not going to be as of a priority to those that are going to be movies, which are going to be a priority, and maybe one or two series that they have, such as I think it's called Oyamatsu, I can't remember what it's called, and of course Bleach, right? And you've got to think about it like this, is that they've made a studio for Bleach, right? And they have the team and they have the staff, and you have to question, is this going to end at Core 4, right? And the answer, simply put, is if it's doing well and they've gone out of their way to make a branch, and they've been given, especially from Aniplex and TV Tokyo, this freedom essentially where they don't have to worry about budget. Like Aniplex is like, okay, they're the ones funding this, they're the ones that are saying, okay, no, if you need more budget or if you need more time, you can have it. That means that Aniplex's confidence is with Bleach right now, right? It's not like you could, go, hey, we got Black Clover, can we have, a lot of budget or a lot of time? Aniplex would be like, well, we don't really know if it will do well, so maybe do, the first season with Pierrot, and then if it does well, then we'll move it to Pierrot Films. Bleach has proved itself to be a risk taker when it comes to budget and also time. So I think that is something that speaks volumes in and of itself. But another thing that was interesting with this as well, which I'll play the clip here.
He also extended the production schedule from under a year to more than a year and a half to enhance quality.
Is that, yes, you heard that right, is that they are going to be having more time, obviously with the budget and time conversation we just had, but more time. So instead of doing, seasons within less than 1 year, which is something we've been quite accustomed to, is having a Bleach season every year, he specifically said 1.5 years. So more than 1.5 years. So, you know, if it was more than a year, then we could kind of say, okay, well, you know, the difference between Core 2 and Core 3 was a year. So that kind of makes sense. But he specifically said 1.5 years. So it's quite plausible that we won't even get the 1,000 Year Blood War until 2026 and potentially in the middle or even maybe late 2026. I don't know. That's my speculation. But again, corporations, production committees, they love money. Who doesn't love money? And who likes making more money? Obviously corporations. If you have a product, then sell it, right? Let's say at the end of all of this, Core 4 happens, right? And obviously they've given a lot of budget and a lot of time and it turns out to be a success. What's Aniplex going to do? Aniplex is going to be like, do we have more Kubo content? Motherfucker, I'm in. So they're obviously, they're not going to stop a money maker, right? And I think the time is good because it obviously fleshes out Kubo's ability to have more time to do things in between and isn't in a rush to make sure the production line is going as efficiently as it should. And he has more time to be like, okay, well, you know, we can take a little bit of a time off while I can do this on this manga with Burn the Witch, or I can go to, you know, Studio Colorido to make sure that the Burn the Witch anime has been doing well, and I can, you know, do Hell chapters and work with Shueisha more because there's not that. His time isn't kind of constricted around Pierrot. He has the flexibility probably to do more and more and more. And I think that's good because I think Core 4 is going to have so much original content that he's most likely had to do storyboards and drafts, much like he did with Senjimura's Bankai, right? So I just see this as a humongous win. I mean, we've got so many games coming out, so many Chinese games, mobile games, console games coming out. We're going to have Core 4, which is going to take over 1.5 years now, I guess, with the speculation is. It's a moneymaker because obviously Aniplex shows the absolute confidence in it and of itself, and we have something called Pierrot Films. Now we can take that as the analogy of like, oh, this is something like the films part is an aspiration to quality, but let's be honest, like Pierrot are obviously going to do movies later on down the line, and obviously like it's going to go to Pierrot Films, right? And if it's run Pierrot Films currently, if it's run by the Bleach team as it stands, then you're obviously probably going to have a Bleach movie at some point. So it's also plausible, you know, and again, we have to give it a little bit more time to find out more information about Core 4, about where it's going to be. I'm obviously doing my best to find out as much information as I can about it, but, you know, we can go into Can't Fear Your Own World, we can go into Rukia's Wedding, we can go into many different movies. I mean, Rukia's Wedding could be a movie, you know, Safui or Spirits of Forever With You could also be a movie too, and obviously it's sellable. Kubo's gone on his Club Outside and he said that he'd love to do like the original Gotei 13 or like the origins of the Soul Society. So I mean, there's so much, there's a plethora of things, and I think Kubo has so much that he wants to bring to the table. And because Aniplex has the backing and the confidence, and Pierrot were like, well, this is a staple for us, right? Because at the end of the day, this show, this NHK special, always elaborated on the fact of Naruto is significant and Bleach is significant, right? They can only push Naruto so far. You know, you have the 4 episodes and you can probably like do some specials here and there, but Naruto's finished, right? And I'm not even taking the jab. I'm not. But the anime for Boruto hasn't proved itself to be the level of Bleach, let's just say. Anyways, it would be a whole different picture. And it would even be, I guess, celebrated by Pierrot to a certain extent. But again, maybe that's just my bias, but that's just how I see things. But one thing that is fact and one thing that is undeniable is that Bleach is extremely well for Pierrot. And it is at this point a Pierrot stable. And you don't want to get rid of a stable thing when you're rebranding your animation studio to get away from that quality that they didn't have in the past. Because also within this interview / special, the staff even say like, you know, our quality wasn't up to par, and now we're getting to that point where like it's doing really well. So why would you stop that momentum, and why would you get rid of the staple that's putting you in that position? I've always said this in live streams and whatnot, but I do think Bleach has a future beyond 1,000 Year Blood War. I think, you know, marketing is also a big thing as well. When we had Core 1, they said it was like the final chapter in some PVs, and then that was kind of just removed in other trailers, like the concept of being like the final. I think they're not marketing it like that anymore. They're just marketing it as the 1,000 Year Blood War rather than the final arc per se. So I think that we can go so many places with this. But tell me your guys' thoughts as well about Pierrot Films. What do you think? Where's the direction going? And do you think that this is an extremely positive outlook on where Thousand Year Blood War is going to end, but also the future of the franchise? I mean, as I said, if Rebirth of Souls does really well and all these mobile games are doing really well, you need a product to promote them, right? And it's like you need a reason to continue these things. Like the momentum of the anime is pushing these products. So they're probably going to want to do another game if Rebirth of Souls does well. I mean, Dragon Ball's a prime example of this idea of marketing. So, you know, it's like Daima is there just to push games and push merchandise, right? So it's like Bleach can have that. It really can. And I think the sponsorships such as like Bandai or, you know, Newverse or, you know, Aniplex or Sony Music are really going to want to keep funding this. But with that being said, I'm going to catch you motherfuckers like you guys, of course, have this fine Debbie Hansen. If you like the video, hit that subscribe, hit that like, and as always, people, peace out.